I think when people look back in hindsight, there was some good things happening specifically on one side of the ball that no one maybe was talking about until the winning streak, and that's the Ravens defense, man. And actually, Kay Adams brought this up on her show. We're going to play the clip for you just to show how dominant the Baltimore Ravens defense has been down this stretch.
I know we got in the Lamar MVP discussion is full force everywhere, and even the Derrick Henry of it all. But I think we're underreacting to the fact that the Ravens have had the most dramatic midseason turnaround I've ever seen on the defensive side of the ball, ever. Underline, italicized, bold it, highlight it, whatever. Over the last 8 weeks, the Ravens have gone from the bottom 10 in pretty much every category to first, numero uno, not top 5, not top 3, no. They're leading the entire NFL in every freaking one. And it all stems from the improvement in the secondary, as you can see here. Voila. They were dead last in passing yards allowed, 26th in passer rating, and a few little tweakments from DC Zach Orr. That have really done their thing. Wow, there's a lot of puns that don't need to be made on this show right now. They moved Kyle Hamilton back to free safety, okay? First round corner Nate Wiggins seeing the field a lot more, and he's been a total star. One of the lowest passer ratings of any DB in the league this year. How about Marlon Humphrey, just living his actual best life? He's played almost exclusively in the slot. Dominant year, career high 6 picks. A pick 6, too. The addition of Trey White at the deadline gives them depth that they need. I like the move. Everyone knows I'm a big Trey White fan. And then it's like these revitalization, these oldies but goodies. Are they hanging out?
So it looked right there. She's saying with the oldies but goodies, saying with White being acquired, he's been a piece that can help this team. Kyle Van Noy was probably the one that everyone looked at last year, right, of going, well, wait a minute, what are they going to get out of him? Well, you're going to get a guy that's going to just get to the quarterback and get his money, by the way.
Yeah.
Got his money on that one sack against the Browns, got the incentive. But, Nick, I mean, just talk about it. It's true. The Ravens defense, going back even a couple weeks before that graphic, playing the Steelers, defense played really well in that game because in the game before that was the Bengals where it was down to the wire 35-34. But since that Bengals game, truly, the boys are flying around there on the defensive side, and clearly the numbers are indicating how successful they've been.
Yeah, I think, we had to make some moves in the secondary. We were struggling a little bit early. I think Jamar Chase just had a career season in 2 games against us. And, I think guys took that personally. And not just the secondary, but the pass rush, the linebackers playing drop zone and helping out in the pass game and also being effective in the run game and kind of making teams one-dimensional. But, I mean, we have between Roquan, Kyle Van Noy, Marlon, AD stepping up, playing great ball, Nate Wiggins really coming into his own, Matabike, all these guys, Adafe getting to 10 sacks. Like, we have some superstars on the defensive side of the ball. And, we had new defensive coordinator this year in Zach Orr, and we were early on. We were struggling all around. I think it was every part of our game, offense, defense, and special teams. And we kind of had to check ourselves at the door after we lost that Cleveland game. And we were playing good enough football before that to win games. Obviously, we won 5 in a row, I think, or whatever that stat is. But I kind of said it a little bit ago. We got to a point in the season where it was like, look, boys, we're either gonna start winning some damn football games, or we're gonna find ourselves watching TV in January. And guys took that personal and put it upon themselves to do what they needed to do and do it as a unit and get better and understanding and communicate to be able to execute at the highest level. And it's showing. I mean, AD showed up, and he's the guy. I joke around. I call him hit stick man. Anytime someone gets near that goal line, boy, you better watch out. AD's going to hit stick you. And all these guys. I mean, Nate's really turning over and becoming a really, really standout player, showing off that 4.2 speed and really showing why he was the first round draft pick. And Marlon's taking on that leadership role that we kind of were lacking in that secondary. And Kyle Hamilton. He's been a standout player, the whole time he's been in Baltimore. And then you got dudes like Van Noy, who's having a career year in his 11th year at 33 years old. And he's able to he's able to do that. But what he's doing is helping out Adafe because he's taking more eyes off of Adafe and putting him on KVN. And Adafe is able to show up and get 10 sacks. And you got Matabike being Matabike. And then lo and behold, we had a little rotating door, I think, at the will linebacker with Chris Board and Trenton Simpson and Malik Harrison. And those guys have kind of been sharing that role together, and they've all three played really good football at different points in this season. And having Roquan at the helm of being the kind of the catalyst for that defense, being the leader, he's a guy that dudes rally behind. That's a physical football player, and that guy took it personal early on when we weren't at where he felt like we needed to be as a team. And he kind of took those boys in and was like, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. And then all we got to do now is show up on Sundays and do it. And we've seen over the last eight weeks or so that, these guys are the real deal, and they can be the best defense in the league. And I think we're going to continue to see that from them.
Nick, was there a moment in this season where the entire secondary just decide they're just going to crash out on every play? Because I think it's at least 4 to 5 times a game where you just see one of the biggest hits you'll ever see, and you look up and it's like our Darius Washington or it's Kyle Hamilton or Marlon Humphrey. The entire secondary, like you said, is hitting over the past few weeks. It feels like they are playing downhill. They're playing with confidence.
Physical.
Yeah, it truly is incredible to see. And, I know you've talked about on the sidelines, it feels like there's a different energy in that group. And like you said, I think, guys like Roquan, like Marlon have stepped up and been those leaders, and man, is it paying off.
Yeah, they've been physical. I remember last week when Marlon flipped that guy over.
Yeah.
I kind of looked at Jordan and was like, dude, he is playing mean right now. Like that guy is physical. But those guys, we got a really good group with AD, Kyle, Nate, Trey, and Marlon. They got it seems like they have really good chemistry together, and they trust each other, and they're all playing complementary football on top of each other. And so when you do that, it allows guys freedom to kind of be a little bit more aggressive in certain situations. And we're seeing that. I mean, Kyle's always been a big hitter. Like, he's a guy that, to me, he's like your Brian Dawkins. Like, he's going for the man and not the ball. He's a physical player, and he's always been that way. And Marlon, anytime you can get a corner-like player to come down in the box and put a hit on a tight end or a running back, that sets the tone for everybody else. Like, you do that early, and that just lets everybody know, like, hey, boys, we're being fucking physical today. And Marlon's taking that on himself. I mean, he's the most veteran guy in that secondary, and he's the highest paid guy in that secondary, and he's stepping up and he's being the leader, and we're seeing the Marlon Humphreys that we all expect to see every day in and day out. And so I love watching him, man. He's an energetic player. He's a very emotional player. He's a physical player, and he's a smart player, and he's making huge plays, and I love it.
Yeah, they're announcing their presence on the field, and it's a real thing. And anything that you do in any sport, when a team has that moment, right? The other team, whether they say it out loud or not, it's in the back of their mind being like, shit, it's different. I mean, it's the same thing like I'll say with baseball for you guys. If a team comes out of the gate just swinging and they are being aggressive, or a pitcher's on the bump and he is just going right at you, and you're like, oh, damn, it's going to be a long day. Like, we're going to have to grind. It's the same thing I see with football. If you set that tone from the beginning, then you're like, oh, this is our brand. You better be ready for 60 minutes. And that's what they're showing. Hit stick, Nick. Hit stick, I love. Yeah. Zach probably has no idea where hit stick came from.
Yes, I do, man.
Thank you. Okay, I was worried.
Hit stick.
I spam hit stick. It's my downfall.
The only way to tackle, dude.
It came out.
There's no other way to tackle on that.
Was it 2005? Because
I think Ray Lewis.
Yeah,
Ray Lewis. I think it was 2005. They added the hit stick.
It was around that year. It was like the 4 or 5.
I'll be honest. I played it recently. I put a picture on X. Running with Jamal Lewis put me in a whole different world, and I think I set the single games sack record with Terrell Suggs.
Dude, being Michael Vick in that game also was
that was the first cheat code of a video game player, besides Nick Moore in 2020.
The vertical threat.